Hi guys, welcome to Metal and Rock Zone. It's Friday, there is new music out, and today I want to talk about the new album from Uriah Heep, Chaos and Color. It's the 25th studio album by this band. I don't know a lot of bands that have done 25 albums and still going strong. Before we get into it, I want to talk about the album, how it sounds, what are good songs, what are bad songs, what I think about it, if I recommend it or not. And before I get into that, guys, then follow us on social media. We have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Metal and Rock Zone, where we share short videos from concerts that we go to and all the material that is not necessarily here on our YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out, guys. So Uriah Heep, one of those old kind of classic rock bands, founded in 1969, and it's kind of always been there. You know, I knew their old songs like Easy Living, of course, July Morning, and Lady in Black. But I saw them live here in December last year, and you can actually check out my concert review here from that gig. And I was very impressed. I didn't expect this band to be so powerful and so somehow on it. And so I was curious, and I saw it actually in the concert that they were coming out with an album, and I had no clue that they were still making albums and stuff like that. So I was very kind of excited to make this review. And in the meantime, between the concert and now, I checked out some of their later stuff, and the last album actually is kind of good. So I was excited about this, and then the singles came out. The first one, "Save Me Tonight," which is it's a good solid song, and I was kind of again like, okay, these guys are really rocking, and they have somehow managed to modernize their sound without losing the roots. And then the second single, "Hurricane," came out, and I was somehow less impressed with that one, and and then I was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe they had a one-hit luck, with "Save Me Tonight." So the album came out, and I started listening. And after the first listen, I was like, no, this isn't anything for me. This is a 6.5, and I had a bad feeling about it because, in some way, I love this band, but on the other hand, I didn't want to, talk nicely about something that I don't like. And luckily, when that came to me, this 6.5. I was far away from the studio, and I had a long dog walk to do before, and then I had some work to do in the morning. So I had to give it a few more spins. And the more I listened to it, the more I changed my mind about this album. So I will share that with you as we go through this, not track by track, but I'll talk about some of the songs and what I like about this and so on, and my verdict and so on. So in the band now are Mick Box. He is the guitar guy. He's been there from the start. He actually started the band in 1967, then that changed its name to Uriah Heep. Then it's Phil Lanson on keyboards and Hammond. Bernie Shaw, who's the new guy in the band, he's the singer. New guy has been in the band since 1986. And Dave Rimmer, who's a bass player, and Russell Gilbrook, who's on the drums. The cover of the album is some head that is, I don't know, exploding with colors. And actually, Chaos and Color is I think the inspiration for this was the lockdowns, the COVID thing and stuff like that. And that there was chaos and fear and stuff like that. You can see it on the face on the cover. It's kind of a desperate face. And then, but music was the color that colored life somehow. I guess that's a musician's perspective. I think a lot of people saw it differently maybe, but it's a cool cover. It's 11 songs and clocks in around 60 minutes. So it's actually, I'll tell you about that later. There are a few long ones on this one. And I think overall, I mean, all the usual suspects are there, good combo between keyboards and guitar, and but it has more energy than I somehow expected. I should have known when I went to that concert, because I was talking to the guy that it was their 50th anniversary concert, the guy that was running a museum that was there for them, the pictures from throughout their career. You see that in my other video. Then I was kind of, like thinking that this was their last chance on the road. And I was asking him, so what's going to happen now? I see there's a new album. He said, yeah. So they're going on some tour with Dee Snider and some other people in Germany in January and February, which is now. But that's not Uriah Heep. That's, I think, only Mick Box with some other people. And then they're going to do the festivals in the summer, and then there's a tour in the autumn. And I was like, what the fuck? These guys are not about to stop, And so I should have known it, that when I put this album on, I could feel, okay, there is energy in this. And it kind of has, yeah, as I said, like good solid rockers like Save Me Tonight. It's a really good kind of, and that kicks off the album. So it's a good kind of intro into what you're getting. And Age of Changes is also kind of like cut out of the same mold somehow. And then Hurricane as well, like, but that has though when the more I listen to it, the more I liked it. That was one of the singles that I didn't like in the beginning. It has this kind of dark intro somehow, gives me a little bit of an Ozzy Osbourne vibe, and kind of, yeah. So, and that's the whole thing, that these songs have like catchy choruses and all that, but they also have something more, some dissonance or something that gives it something a little bit extra, some pepper on it that's not often in classic rock. And it also has some heavy metal, you know, like double bass drums, for example, or double kick, or whatever you call it. There's this song called "You'll Never Be Alone." I think it's like an 8-minute song, and it has, after like 4 minutes, it goes into some really deep, heavy dissonance, and then after 5 minutes, you get the double beat. But that's a song that starts off with the piano, so it's like an opus, you know, and it's an interesting song because it kind of hangs together, but constructed of extremely different parts. Very bizarre somehow, but it works. And they have not just this one long song, they have 3 songs over 7 minutes. And since there are so many cool small things in all of them, you never feel that these songs are long somehow. And obviously, kind of let's say the highlight of it is the guitar and keyboard combo, Hammond combo between Mick and Phil that kind of makes up for most of it. But there are other songs like there's a slow one Nation, One Sun, that's also like a long song, like 7.5 minutes, where Bernie Shaw, his voice kind of shines really well, and you can hear how great of a singer he actually is. And in that song, it kind of gets very dramatic after like 3 minutes, and then you hear the bass playing. And so I feel that the balance between the instruments is great here, and the instruments are singing, and in between the instruments and stuff like that. So I was kind of curious because you know, it's not, when you have a band that is kind of built around Hammond and guitar, then it's very often tempting that kind of becomes what that band is about. And so I was curious, okay, so who is producing this? And it's the same guy that has been producing Anthrax. He's been producing Stone Sour, that is Corey Taylor's band, or second band. And then he's been producing the Winery Dogs, and he produced also Europe. And I think, I don't know if how much influence he had on this, but I kind of have a feeling, because there is kind of a grungy vibe, heavy metal vibe, classic rock vibe, you know, like it's all there somehow, a little bit of proggy sometimes. And I think, yeah, that gives it something added, you know, like it doesn't get repetitive somehow. There are 2 or 3 songs where I feel that it gets a little bit kind of Deep Purple-ish, and I think that's just, you know, guitar and Hammond, and then the fact that actually I feel that Bernie's voice and Ian Gillan's voice are not very, very different. But on the other hand, if we think about it, and this made me think, okay, so where are these bands that were back there in 69, 70, 71? You know, you had Black Sabbath, you had Led Zeppelin, you had Deep Purple, you had Uriah Heep, and of course tons of other bands. But if we take those 4, then, you know, Uriah Heep are still out there. They're going to be touring. They're coming out with an album. Black Sabbath, nothing. Led Zeppelin, nothing. And Deep Purple has kind of been up and down. I mean, I have to admit that the last album, not the cover song album that they did now, Turning to Crime, but the Whoosh or whatever it's called before that, it's actually a really good album. But they have kind of had their downs. And so you can say that, you know, Uriah Heep stayed in there for the long run, and sometimes the snail wins the race. You know, it's not always the rabbit or the hare that goes off fast, you know. And what I feel that is very apparent on this album, and also actually the last one, I think that came out in 2018, is that what this band has done in a really nice way is that they still kind of make music that their old crowd and their old fans like, but they also, I think, can appeal to new listeners with this, because they have modernized without losing touch with their roots somehow. Another one of those long songs on this album is called Freedom to Be Free. That's 8 minutes, and again, a very, very diverse song, so you don't feel that it's 8 minutes. And actually, those 3 long songs are really, really good. The last song on the album is called Closer to Your Dreams, I think. Yeah, Closer to Your Dreams. I didn't like it. It felt like a joke song somehow in the beginning when I like kind of like and it just wasn't for me. But then I started listening to the lyrics, and the lyrics there and overall on the album are actually really, really good. And they are, in that song, they're singing about how important it is not to lose the sight of who you are, even if you're chasing fame or whatever. And that, yeah, some people need longer to get results versus other getting instantly famous. And that maybe speaks a little bit to what I was telling earlier. We still have Uriah Heep around coming with a kick-ass album. Now I gave it away, it's not 6.5 anymore. And so on this album, I would say that 9 out of 11 songs are really, really good. And the best ones are Freedom to Be Free, One Nation, One Sun, Hurricane, and You'll Never Be Alone. So if you want to check out 1, 2, 3, 4 songs from this album, then check out these ones. I'm going to give this album a 9 out of 10. That's a steep increase from my 6.5 pre-dog walk, pre-drive, pre-work. But I don't know, on the 3rd or 4th spin, this album just got me somehow. And what makes it good is that it's great songwriting. It's really, really good songwriting. And I can imagine that, you know, a lot of bands who struggle with making 8-minute songs that keep you engaged, but these guys can do it. Skill-wise, the band is just, it's amazing. They're really, really good. And every instrument there somehow gets to shine. That means that, yeah, the mix is really, really good, and the arrangements and production is great, you know, that everyone gets their moment in the sun. And I would say, yeah, of course, the interplay between keyboards and guitar are really kind of a center of attention here, but without overshadowing anything else. And yeah, the singing is great as well. So I would recommend this album. I can't really say any negatives about it. I don't find anything kind of negative. I was thinking there was maybe one thing, but that's kind of like now I'm just finding something bad. But they kind of have the longer songs more at the end. I don't know, maybe they could have mixed it a little bit, but I think maybe they were worried that, you know, we kind of have to ease them in, you know, to get people into the album, and then we can hit them with the 8 minutes, you know. So maybe that's like some commercial thinking here or something, but I think it could be a little bit more balanced in how the tracks are arranged or in what order they are on the album. But, you know, we're talking bullshit here, to be very honest. So I think that this album will actually end up on a lot of people's lists of, you know, best album of the year or something like that. It's very, very solid, and I think it will be in my rotation. I really like it. I'm humming some of the choruses already, and that's always a good sign. And as I said, I think it appeals to the old fans, but also opens up for new fans, and I think that's a very good way to do it, because some bands kind of are either stuck in the past or trying to get rid of the past, but these guys kind of, yeah, they merge these two things in a very nice way. And I really hope that I get to see them again live playing this stuff, because on the anniversary tour they were obviously playing a lot of the older stuff. So I'm hoping to be able to see them live with this stuff, because I think it will sound amazing live. There are some really good, powerful songs there, plus some kind of opuses that will be interesting to see. So stay tuned, guys. There's more stuff coming up. I'm going tomorrow to see an Icelandic band called Solstafir and Katatonia from Finland. So I'll do something about that, or put a concert review. I just did a concert review on Manowar, for those who are into Manowar. You can find that here on the channel as well. That was live here in the Czech Republic last week. And next week it's Accept. I'm gonna drive 3.5 hours to see Accept. So there'll be something about that as well. And yeah, like, share, and comment. Follow us on social media. Tell me what you think. What you think about this album. What do you think about the band? Always happy to hear from someone. And yeah, see you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.